Pam Gelsomin. I'm a self-taught cook and food blogger. Welcome to my kitchen here on Block Island, Rhode Island. I pride myself on making dishes that are elegant and sophisticated, but simple to make for the home cook. And I'm gonna make a yummy chicken dish for you here today. I'm making honey mustard chicken thighs with apples and onions. All right, let's get started. So I have about 2.5 to 3 pounds of chicken thighs here, about 6 good-sized chicken thighs. You could use other cuts of chicken. You could use breast or legs. I love chicken thighs. It's my favorite part of the chicken, and it's pretty much foolproof in terms of cooking. It's very hard to overcook, and it's almost always moist and juicy when it comes out. So chicken thighs it is today. I've liberally seasoned these guys on both sides with salt and pepper, probably overall about 2 teaspoons each. You really want to put in a lot. This is your first layer and it's really going to coat the chicken, so you want to be very liberal with your seasoning here. Over here, I've got a cast iron skillet that has 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating over medium-high heat, and that's where we're going to cook our chicken. You want a cast iron or oven-proof skillet because this dish goes from stovetop to oven, and we're going to put them into the skillet. Turn it overheat a little bit. And you're going to put them in skin side down. And we're going to cook these in here probably on the first side for about 5 to 7 minutes. We want that skin to get super crispy, golden, mahogany, brown color, so that you've got a nice crunch and all the fat renders out. And then we're going to turn them and cook them for a couple minutes on the other side. In the fall, my family loves to go apple picking, and we get tons of apples, and I really look forward to coming back and creating both sweet and savory recipes. So we're obviously doing savory today. I've got a couple different kinds of apples I'm putting into this dish. You can really use pretty much anything you have on hand, but you want something that's like a cooking apple. So I have Granny Smith, I've chopped some up here already, and Honeycrisp apples that I'm using today. But again, you could use pretty much any firm apple variety. We've also got onions. I'm using sweet onions. I'm using Vidalia onions. So I'm cutting these into wedges, and as they cook down, they're going to sort of melt into almost onion petals. These are going to come apart, and you're going to get these soft, kind of a little bit tangy pops when you're eating the dish. So we're cutting into about 1-inch wedges, so you can see here, not tiny, so they're going to absolutely have some structural component in the dish. So these guys done. I've got 2 onions in this dish. I'd already chopped one up for you. And then we're using 3 apples. As I said, I've got 1 Granny Smith and 2 Honeycrisp. And again, for these, you're going to chop into wedges, so just go right around the core. And then we're just going to chop them into wedges. These are also going to cook down, and they're going to be tender, but it's still a teeny bit crisp inside. So they'll have a little bit of nice texture as well in the dish. So if you're wondering what to do with all those extra apples if you go apple picking, this dish is a great option for a savory choice. I'm also going to put thyme in the dish. This is a bundle of thyme that I've tied with kitchen string, probably about 10 to 12 sprigs. And my friend asked me why you tie it like this, almost like a bouquet garni. And the reason is so that you add all the essence of flavor of the herb into the dish, but you don't end up with like lots of little sticks and things. You could also take the leaves off and just throw those in, but this is going to add all the flavor to the dish, and at the end we're going to toss it out and the flavor will remain. And then lastly, honey mustard means we need a honey mustard sauce. So in this bowl, I have put 3/4 of a cup of honey, 1/4 cup of grainy mustard, and 1/2 cup of Dijon mustard. And I'm just going to whisk this until it's smooth. And this is going to go on at the end before we put it in the oven and create the most delicious sauce that's just going to melt all around that crispy chicken and the apples and onions. And then we're going to serve the dish, when it's all said and done, over quinoa. You could do it over rice. You could do it over mashed potatoes. I like quinoa for this dish. And to make the quinoa, simply take a cup of quinoa, 2 cups of liquid. You can use water. I like to use chicken stock because it imparts a little more flavor in the quinoa. And then just let it bubble away for about 20 to 25 minutes until all the liquid is absorbed. All right, our chicken smells amazing. It's been bubbling away here for probably about 6 minutes or so. And now I'm going to flip them over. Let's check out. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. The skin is, I can even feel it with the tongs, totally crispy and a beautiful golden brown color. We're going to flip them to the other side. Oh, they look so good. They look and smell incredible. All right, our chicken has cooked for a couple minutes on the other side. I'm going to remove the chicken now to a plate and reserve the pan drippings. I'm putting it on the same plate that we used before because this chicken is going to cook again in the oven, so we're not worried about contaminating the raw chicken juices. And now to the pan, we're going to add those onions that we cut up right into the stock there. Then I'm going to let those cook for a couple minutes. We're going to add our thyme, and I'm going to let them soften. So we're going to stir these around probably for about 2 minutes. So now we're going to add our apples to the pan, and we're going to stir these around just for a minute or two until they're coated with all that luscious juice. Now we're going to add one of my favorite ingredients, white wine. Gives you an excuse to open a bottle so that you can have a glass while you're cooking. I'm going to add a cup of white wine. And any good quality would work. This is a Chardonnay, but you could do a Sauvignon Blanc, a Pinot Grigio. All right, and what this is going to do, it's going to impart flavor into the apples and onions, but we're also going to deglaze the pan with this. So if you could see in here, there's all these little brown bits from when we browned our chicken, and that means flavor. So we want to get all those brown bits up and into our sauce. So when this wine goes in, it's exactly what's going to happen. I'm just going to stir this, kind of scraping the bottom a little bit until all those brown bits are up. Oh, it smells so good. All right, we might add a little more salt and pepper to this part of the dish, layers of flavor. Probably about ½ teaspoon salt, ½ teaspoon black pepper. Now we're going to add our chicken back into the pan, skin side up. We don't want to waste that beautiful crispy skin that we worked so hard to get. And we're basically going to nestle it right into, nestle, that's a very technical cooking term, right into the apples and onions. Oh, wow, this looks incredible. Scoot over there, little guy. Some of these on top, leaving that chicken skin exposed. All right, this sauce is gonna go all over the whole dish, and this is gonna go and work with the wine. It's not gonna affect your chicken skin too much because it's gonna seep down, and the chicken skin's gonna continue to be beautiful and crispy. Let's get every bit of that. You can see all the beautiful color. I love the whole grain mustard. The seeds add a beautiful texture and flavor. So this is going to go right now. I've preheated an oven to 400 degrees. We're going to pop it in the oven, and it's going to cook, depending on the thickness of your chicken thighs, for about 20 to 30 minutes, just until the internal temperature of the chicken registers 160 to 165 degrees. Oh, it looks so good. Look at that, baby. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous and it smells delicious. So I guess it's time to taste it. So I've got a plate here. As I mentioned, we made quinoa. I'm gonna do probably about a third to a half a cup of quinoa on our plate. And then I'm gonna do one gorgeous chicken thigh. Oh, look at that beauty. So good. That on top of our quinoa. And then some of those amazing apples and onions all around the dish. Come on. And then loads of that luscious gravy all over the top. Okay, and then we're going to garnish with a little more fresh thyme. We got rid of our thyme bundle, and we're going to put that right on top. How good does that look? Incredible. All right, now we get to taste. Take a sip of wine. All right, I'm gonna get some chicken. A little bit of everything. Chicken, quinoa, a little bit of apple, an onion. Sweet from the honey and the apples. Savory from that combination of the whole grain and the Dijon mustard. The chicken skin is still a little bit crispy. Make this dish for your family, and happy cooking, Jacques. Cheers.